Welcome to Sunday Morning Quarterback with Jay Stockwell and Bob Frady. Oh, what a big night we've got here, Bob Fraley.
Oh, it's always a big night when we're
Vice
involved
presidential
in
debate night.
We're not talking about that. We're here to talk about college football.
No balls, walls against
you,
man.
JD,
Normally,
I'm a weird against the weirdo.
No,
The weird, you know what it is? It's the weirdo against the weirdo. They're just weird in different ways. JD Waltz, what's his name this year? It's like this guy. This guy.
No.
I know. No, we're talking.
I would be the guy for the guy from Nebraska, right? And I'd be the guy for the former coach, okay? But
instead, you want to vote for the weirdo.
No, we live in Minnesota, and I know this guy up close, and I've met JD Vance. I've not met Tim
awesome.
Walz. Yeah,
Minnesota's awesome. What are you talking about?
We like this.
Bob Frady lives here, so it's all right.
So I'm excited. I'm glad we did the pod like a half an hour earlier because we can.
Yeah, I'm glad that we just wasted 1 minute and 12 seconds talking about nonsense that will be meaningless in about 3 minutes.
But the other thing that's going on, it's Uncle Kelly week. So it's Rutgers, right?
Rutgers, the State University of New Jersey.
Uncle Kelly is my older brother. He's coming in from New York City with his daughter Lily, who was
New York City?
Yeah. And Lily was actually an intern for my company this summer, and she did fantastic. She was in a marketing class at Belmont University, and guess what they were talking about marketing in Belmont? Claritas.
Property lens.
Oh. Yeah. No, yeah, okay. Well, we're working on that too. But anyway,
yeah.
So Uncle Kelly's coming in. We got a big special weekend plan on the field, Champions Club.
This is the point in our podcast where we're supposed to say click the subscribe button, but most people haven't made it that far because they're like, "What the hell are these guys talking about?"
They got turned off. Clue.
Yeah,
they shut down at no balls walls.
They shut down at what the hell are these guys talking about? So it's a football podcast. We will eventually get to it.
We'll make sure we have.
It's like having a song that has a really long intro, and you're like, "This is so boring. Get to this song."
A long instrumental.
It's like a bass solo before the song actually happens. It's like, no, that's our bass solo.
So on the field experience, volleyball game on Sunday for Uncle Kelly. He's really big. By the way, it's his 65th birthday. His daughter arranged this. He loves the volleyball. I'm not even going. Volleyball is a harder ticket than football in Nebraska. So I can get 8 tickets.
You know
for
why?
Football.
You know why? Because there are fewer seats available.
Well, that's true, but the volleyball is kind of better, So, so I'm not even going to the game. I've never been to a Nebraska volleyball game at Nebraska, and I'm making it so my brother and his daughter, and then Marion and her friend can go. They'll go.
So what are you gonna do? Is sit outside and run a podcast or something?
George and I are going to be back at the hotel with his buddy Soren. So 7, the traveling party is 7. Kelly's flying in Thursday. We travel Friday afternoon. It's Kelly and I, George and Soren.
Is Kelly flying into Minnesota?
Yeah, he's flying into Minnesota. You'll get to see Kelly.
Good. I'll see him. I'll see him. That's good.
And then the highlight is Sunday morning. We're going to do the post-game pod on the terrace in Kathy Farrell's office at the business school, College of Business, Nebraska, of which I'm a graduate. Bob Frady is not. But
that's because I can do more than fog a mirror, so I can actually use Excel.
Hey, Nebraska's business school, the online MBA is ranked number 7 in the United States under Kathy Farrell's leadership. So
Kathy's awesome. We love Kathy. Kathy is awesome. If you want to go to business school, you go to Nebraska.
By the way, we owe her questions in advance, so I'll iterate that with you, and we'll send them in advance. But I agree with you. She is fantastic, and I'm an enormous fan of Kathy Farrell. So that's the prelude for 5 minutes before we get to the game here. So talk to me about the big game. But you're the East Coast guy.
Greg Schiano is a great coach. He has a very simple style. He wants to zone run the ball 65% of the time, and then hit you with play action after the fact. And Kalakamanis, I think is his name, the guy who quarterback from Minnesota last year is their quarterback.
Yep.
And they try to play good defense. The problem with Rutgers, or the challenge for Rutgers, is they give up a ton of rushing yards. Like 170 a game, I think, is their average. You probably have that exact stat, including to luminaries like Akron and Howard. Howard and Akron both ran all over. I mean, the game was decided, but they were blowouts, but still a lot of rushing yards.
Yeah, they do. So Nebraska rushing defense is 15th in the country, 19th overall. We give up 85 yards a game. They give up 172. Oh, my God. Emmett Johnson's going to go crazy.
And so I think that if your baseline belief is that you're a running team and you can't run the ball, you will have a struggle in the game. So it's like they've won 2 close games. They beat Uncle Mark's team by 3, and they beat which is Virginia Tech, and they beat Washington because Washington couldn't finish the game. They red zone opportunities left it. They had 500 yards and still lost the game.
Rutgers is 237.8, number 12th in the country on rushing offense. But you're making a defensive argument, right?
Listen, good defenses beat good offenses. So it's I think the 3-3-5 is well designed, or 3-5-5, whatever it is.
We're 19th in total defense. They're 69th in total defense. Offensively, we are 62nd, they're 48th. So they're a little statistical edge on offense because of the rushing.
But two of the games were Akron and Howard. It's like, come on. It's like they haven't played anybody yet. And Washington had to fly all the way across the country to New Jersey, which is a stressful experience. If you've ever flown across the country to New Jersey,
it's Newark. It's in Newark.
Go to Newark, and you're in traffic, and you don't know where you're going. It's just stressful. The flight was probably late. You had United flight attendants like throwing peanuts at you and stuff like that. It's a challenge for sure. The more you think, well, they're undefeated and all that stuff, and the more you look at this game, the more I can't help but think that it will be low scoring, but it won't be close. I just don't think it'll be close. It'll be a rock fight for sure, but I don't think it'll be close.
Hold on, you got to bring in the fatter coach rule here. So Greg Schiano is pretty fit.
Yeah, exactly.
Not that Matt isn't. Matt is not unfit.
He's getting slimmer, and I'm not sure I like it.
I think he's the fatter coach, so I think that bodes well for Nebraska.
Well, I wouldn't say he's fatter because that's not a word you want to use with people. Like if I said Stockwell,
it's not mine.
If I went to you and said we're coaching high school teams, you're fatter than me, it's like you'd be pissed. You don't say that kind of stuff to people. You say
describe yourself as a pipe cleaner, dude.
I would say you're bigger than me. I wouldn't say fatter. I would never say fatter. I would say bigger, which is a euphemism. It's like he passed away. He's bigger, So I think that Schiano's a little too yoked for a college coach.
Yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't want to get in a fight with him. That's for sure. I wouldn't get in a fight with either one of them.
I listened to his press conference last night. The guy is impressive.
Oh, he's a great coach.
If I have this right, I think I have this right. He coached Matt Rule at Penn State, and so he's known Matt forever, and so Matt has just tremendous respect for him.
Yep,
and he should because he's righted the ship at Rutgers.
Yep.
So Uncle Kelly's coming in, East Coast guy, New York City, Uncle Bob's from here,
I would love to see a truckload of Rutgers fans coming out to Nebraska. Oh my God, what a hoot that was. Hey, listen, what's this freaking runs this stuff? I need some of that. What exit? What exit we getting off the freeway here for the game? It's like,
oh, look who just walked in.
Dude, what happened to 7 p.m.? I thought we were doing the pod at 7. Come on.
Yeah.
You're late.
Really leaving me out here.
You're late.
Oh, 7 Eastern time.
George is just back from doing his Timberwolves commercial. So he had to do his Timberwolves. and he was complaining because there wasn't.
This was a college football podcast. I complain about your son podcast.
There was no food, Dad. I'm so
we've gone completely off the rails here. We are so far
DoorDash.
off the rails. Yeah, we are off the rails, people. It is just bedlam. It's bedlam here in the Edina.
So let's talk about points, and then we'll talk about other games this weekend, Uncle Bob. So let's. What do you think the outcome's going to be?
I think that the under is fine. The over is finally in a reasonable number. It's 43, I think, right now.
Yep.
And that's a good number. I think it'll be 23-10, right on the number. Right on the number.
I'm a little different though. I think they're rushing.
Yeah, I know.
I already said I'm above average. You're a pipe cleaner, so let's be clear. Let's be clear about that, Bob Fraley.
Excuse me.
Okay, so here's what I think. This is what I think. I think Greg Schiano is a great coach, and I think he's to bring a motivated team in there. And I think this could be a lot like the Illinois game. It's going to be back and forth, no question. But I think our team is building resilience, and I think that our kicking game is going to come back. I think it's going to be a tighter game. You said the over was what, 43?
43, I think.
Yeah,
41. Now it's down to 41.5.
And the point spread is up at 7, right?
6.5 right now.
6.5.
It's gone down.
So I think it's going to be a tighter game. I think it's going to be 24-21 Huskers, and we're going to win on a field goal, and the kicking game is going to be redeemed, and we're gonna come back, and we're gonna have a nice little victory here. And
this is the game of the Big Ten. This is the best matchup in the Big Ten this weekend.
Let's go through them. So Oregon's going to slaughter Michigan State, -24 favorite. Penn State, UCLA -28, no game.
Wow.
Wisconsin, Purdue -14, Wisconsin favored. Iowa, Ohio State. You're absolutely right about this, Bob. There's no close games. Ohio State, Ohio State's going to win that big time.
The only game that's even has a closer line is Michigan and Washington, which is 2.5 points, and the over's 41.5. I'm like, are you kidding me? Take the over.
Yeah.
Over.
No, I think that I must be the away. With Michigan on the road, but I think Washington's going to get smoked on that one. Michigan's coming off. They had a little bit of a regression against, was it Minnesota, right?
Yep.
But they looked really good previously against who was it?
I forget. I don't. You know what? It comes in, it goes out. I don't really try to remember too much.
It was just
how I keep my life.
2 weeks ago.
Iowa versus Ohio State.
No, Texas, they lost. Arkansas State, they won. Hold on.
We'll find out if Iowa is a paper tiger this weekend. For sure.
Oh, USC. So they beat USC in week 4. So that was the good win.
Yeah. Because USC pulled El Foldo.
Yeah.
That's
So I think so you're what, 24-10, and I'm 24-21.
Yeah, I think we're both taking the over. But I'm going over on the points.
You're taking the under. You're on the under.
It's 41.5. So I think
24 plus 10 is 34. You're 34.
I'm at 34. Okay, I'm still the under.
Yeah.
I was doing salesperson math there, so it's like 24 plus 10 is 50. You owe me $50,000.
Do you want to do like Chisenbop or something or whatever that is? You need to like abacus, like.
Don't make me laugh. I have a cold.
Do you need the Heimlich? Do you need the Heimlich, Bob Fraley?
Yeah, I know you know the Heimlich. I once met Dr. Heimlich, and I went up and shook his hand.
That's a fact.
My life is simply chasing the events of Jay Stockwell's life. I'm like the guy in the background, like, he did what? Wow.
No, you were in the back. The time I met you, remember when I met you? You were in the back row.
I was in the back. That's where I belong. I'm in the back.
Yeah.
So, I like to keep a low profile. So, so you think they're going to go over and not cover the spread? I think they're going to come under and cover the spread.
Yeah,
you know why the under? Because they're 4-1 against the end of this year. They keep lowering it. See how far it can go. I'm just a big believer in the black shirts this week.
Let's explore why you're not being there this weekend, Bob. Is it because you're down with the cold? What's going on? I've got an extra ticket. Jane's going to get to go to the game because you aren't.
Because you know what? I wanted it to be a Stockwell family reunion. And, and I got to have George
on the field.
I love the idea, but I am focused on.
You're missing the Kathy Farrell pod. You'll be on the pod, but you're missing it.
I know, and I'm missing our. You should just move it to in front of our plaques at the memorial.
I will get a photo.
So, by the way, did you see that Hudson Card was the 10th highest graded quarterback in college football last weekend,
and still managed to lose to Nebraska?
Okay, not only managed to lose to Nebraska, but also threw a pick six and got his offensive coordinator fired. It's like, what the hell? And then Dylan Raiola, who had a higher rating, threw for more yards, didn't throw a pick six, gets bupkis.
Yeah, so Greg Schiano spoke very highly of Dylan Raiola. He's like, hey, he would be a great. His performance would be great as a senior, but as a freshman, it's unheard of. So it's
so cool. Listen, last week, Dylan Raiola went up to number 29 in the all-time passing yardage at Nebraska, passing Heinrich Haarberg, Riker Fife, and a big shout-out to Riker Fife, and Mike Grant. So, and Fred Duda. Don't forget Fred Duda from 1960.
He's gonna end up catching our buddy Vince Ferragamo.
Well, Vince did it in 2 seasons. 3,200 yards in 2 seasons, that's 1,600 yards per season. Yeah, he's going to catch him. The difference is that, when you look at someone like Tommy Armstrong, who's at the top of the chart, he had 8,800 yards passing and 1,800 yards rushing.
Yeah.
Whereas Dylan Raiola has minus 46 yards of rushing. So I would say that rushing is not in his strong suit, but passing certainly is.
We will have Tommy Frazier and Tommy Armstrong on the pod this year. That's the plan.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that's the plan, Bob Fred.
You go make that happen.
You got to have a plan.
You got to have a hope.
You got to have a plan. You got to have a plan. Hold on. Why does Nebraska have 2 different kinds of ends? Do we have a branding problem?
I'm going to have you discuss that with the athletic department.
I kind of like this version of the N.
That's the thin knowledge. This is the thick knowledge. You got to have that. This is like that's
and it's
like
for knowledge. So thin knowledge means you're not very smart. Thick knowledge means you're smart.
That's why you're wearing the thin N. I think form follows function here. So I got into Nebraska.
You're the Ivy League guy that is now a fan of Nebraska. I'm not so smart.
I'm a freaking moron. They should have like a pencil line in the middle of this. Go Big Red is the same cheer, so it was easy transport from one to the other.
You're 24-10. I'm 24-21. I've got we're winning and the over. You're winning and the under, right?
Yes. Although I have to give a shout out to Husker Max for the headline that they put on our last pod. Which I thought was beautiful. Like, people need
Joe Hudson,
warm milk and a nap.
I think you should write all of the descriptions.
Because listen, you can't throw that magic around every time. Not everyone is gold. Like, this podcast is just freaking nonsense. Nonsensical podcast comes out with a prediction, and then I get to put my scores in if I write the headline versus you putting your scores in when you write the headline.
Are you getting the Caleb Henry email that allows you to? So there's a separate thing for predictions, and I write a little blurb and put my score in. Are you getting that email?
I get nothing.
Okay,
I get nothing and like it, Spalding.
So Caleb works for David Max, and he's like the guy over there now, and he does this summary, and so your prediction shows up on Saturday morning.
Oh,
and so I'll introduce you to Caleb.
Well, there you go. That's why I can't go to Nebraska, because I don't know who those guys are.
Yeah, you.
I know who David is though, so which is good.
David's great. What a Nebraska legend.
I have a question for you. How many Runzas will the Stockwell clan take down? The over-under is 12 now.
I don't really. I think the Runzas are way overrated, and that
bite your tongue.
Too much dough. I'll have a Valentino's. I'll have a slice of Valentino's.
Okay, so if we have Valentino plus Runza, what's the over? Do we get the triple digits?
7. Well, when we got 2 boys, so I think you're probably in the right range. You're probably like 12. Yeah,
12.
Valentino's plus Runza.
We're going to need a report back on that. So,
all right.
Okay,
Tampon Tim, take us out.
All right, GC Bizarro, because you need a new name because your old name wasn't any good. So, GC Bizarro,
Tampon Bob.
Tampon Bob doesn't have that ring to it.
It's not as good as Tampon Tim.
No, what do you need? Let's see. No, I can't even think of anything. I'm not that stuff.
All right, take us out.
Go Big Red!
Go TD Vance!
Go GC Bizarro!